Welcome to my flashbang tutorial. Here are the things we're going to cover in this video. The perk and how to get it, how to craft the flashbang, the pros and cons versus flashlights, builds to consider, basic flashbang saves, more technical flashbang saves, and advanced flashbang saves. If you love flashbangs or saving your teammates, smash that subscribe button and like the video if it helps you out. I have lots of flashbang montages, gameplay videos, and the main show Behind Two Pallets that I co-host with Bill Overbeck. Co-host? I'm the host, Bill Overbeck. You're just Rupture. Come on, Bill. This is my episode. We agreed I could do this myself without your help. Fine. But you know I'm better at flashbangs than Rupture. Just watch the montages. Okay, now go away, Bill. Let's get started on the tutorial. Flashbang is a teachable perk from the survivor Leon Kennedy. Leon Kennedy is from Chapter 20, the Resident Evil chapter. Flashbangs work in the exact same way as firecrackers when used. So anywhere in this tutorial where a flashbang is dropped, a firecracker would also work. The Shrine of Secrets is random, so I suggest buying the DLC from your platform store, or you might have to wait a while to get the perk. The DLC also has several good perks, so it's worth it. The first step to crafting a flashbang is working on a generator. You must work on a generator for 50% of the generator. Only personal progress is counted, so working on a generator with a teammate does nothing to speed up gaining a flashbang. It's actually faster to craft a flashbang on a solo generator than with someone else working on it because of the efficiency penalty. Once you've worked on the generator long enough, the perk icon will be fully lit up. Additionally, you will hear an audio cue when the flashbang is ready to be crafted. The next step is to locker. You currently have an item, you will have to drop it and get into the locker empty-handed. Then once the door closes, press the ability button. This will instantly craft the flashbang. You press your use item button to drop the flashbang. You cannot drop the flashbang unless both feet are on the ground. This can make it tricky in some spots or on stairs. When you drop the flashbang or firecracker, there is an audio cue that is played. After 2 seconds, the flashbang detonates and goes boom. If the explosion is in line of sight of the killer and within about 4 meters, the killer will be blinded. Your fellow teammates and zombies can also be blinded, which can be fun. A flashbang can even blind a killer when placed right at the feet of the killer when they are right against a wall or corner. Here's a graphic that represents the area that you can use to blind a killer. Now that we have a flashbang, let's quickly go over some builds. Prior to the Dead Hard nerf in patch 6.1.0, Flashbang, Iron Will, Dead Hard, and Bond was by far my favorite build to use. Dead Hard was handy to position yourself to drop the flashbang in the right spot. With Iron Will and Dead Hard nerfed, I still think this might be the best build. You got Dead Hard to save you if the killer spots you nearby when you are injured going for a save. Some other builds you could try are Flashbang, Sprint Burst, Vigil, and Bond. Sprint Burst, if available, could allow you to get into position for the drop. Vigil, meanwhile, will let you recover Sprint Burst quicker. And Bond to see where survivors are. Here's another one. Flashbang, Sabotage, Breakout, and Bond. Drop the flashbang at the hook, immediately sabotage the hook. Killers will typically turn away to avoid the blind, allowing you to get the sabo. Breakout, meanwhile, is doing its thing. Pretty much any build can work with Flashbang. It's a great wildcard perk. Here's some other builds I may try, and let me know your favorite flashbang builds in the comments. Flashbang, Off the Record, We're Gonna Live Forever, and Bond. I also want to try Flashbang, Inner Healing, Off the Record, and Bond. I like Bond in all my flashbang builds because of the information it provides when I'm near the survivor about to go down. Empathy can also be used, but I don't find it gives as much information as Bond does throughout the entire game. Self-preservation is a perk you could try, but its activation range is 16 meters and that's pretty close, so it's likely the killer will already know you're around by the time it's activated. In short, you can throw flashbang in pretty much any build and get value from it in the right situations. It's a high risk, high reward perk. Let's go over some of the pros and cons of flashlights versus flashbangs. Cons: flashlights can work from a safer distance compared to flashbangs. Flashlights also do not require a crafting time, and flashbangs with a killer using Iron Maiden can give away your position when you're going to craft it. Flashbangs versus the Dredge can be very deadly. Flashlights can get more uses per game. Flashbangs, realistically, you'll only use 2 to 3 per game. Pros: flashbangs can get saves that flashlights cannot, up against walls, corners, any locker, etc. Flashbangs are also immune to Franklins, no charges, so you can pick it back up anytime and still use it. Flashbangs versus Wraith require no aiming. It's easy to stun them out of stealth, which can save you from giving them a free hit. Plus, they go boom. The saves feel more rewarding due to the higher risk. Also, did I mention they go boom? Now for the fun part. Not everyone is experienced with flashbangs and how they work. As a survivor, you can take advantage of killers not knowing what is happening by getting what I call basic saves. These are saves that are 100% avoidable by killers if they are experienced. These saves are when you drop the flashbang at a hook or just before the killer rounds a corner. Let's take a look at hook saves. As a survivor, you want to position yourself in front of the hook, blocking the killer from hooking. You need to be healthy and not have the exposed status effect applied to you. The killer will be forced to hit you. When they do, you want to drop your flashbang. You can try different things like crouching and spinning around to try to confuse the killer. Once they hit you, the hope is that the flashbang will blind the killer, causing them to drop the survivor. Now, as a killer, this is really easy to avoid since there is an audio cue when the flashbang is dropped. All you need to do after hitting the survivor is turn your camera away and/or look up into the sky. The second basic save is a little more difficult than standing under a hook. I call it the ambush or line of sight save. For this one, you want to be positioned near the path the killer is taking to the hook, just out of line of sight. When timed correctly, the killer will walk around the corner and the flashbang will blow up right at the exact same time. It is possible with enough going on and the killer far enough away, they will not notice the audio cue when the flashbang is dropped. Killers move at 3.68 meters per second while carrying a survivor. Flashbangs take 2 seconds to blow up. This means a killer will typically cover a little under 8 meters during that flashbang fuse time. However, the range in front of the killer's view that will blind them is an additional 4 meters, so you can drop the flashbang from fairly far distance and still get the save under the right circumstances. If a killer is using agitation that will cover more ground during the 2 seconds after you drop it, this can actually help you out because you can drop the flashbang from a little further away. Here are some examples of these ambush saves. Okay, we can get maybe a flashbang save here. Oh, I got him! These saves are more difficult to time, but it's always worth a shot to try. Remember, only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly. Robert Kennedy. You fail every flashbang save that you don't go for. On to the more technical and more rewarding saves, the pickup saves. These types of saves have no counter. The only thing a killer can do is check around the area to make sure no one is around before picking someone up. It's important to remember the timing of flashbangs and your positioning for this. This is why perks like Bond are so important. Stay nearby, waiting for the moment the killer downs your teammate. You need to be close once your teammate is down, but stay out of sight. When you think the killer is going to pick up, make your move. You will need to be in position within 1 second of the pickup, so roughly 4 meters from the zone where the flashbang will work. Once you think the killer is about to pick up, make your move. Drop the flashbang just slightly after the survivor being picked up makes their grunt sound. Then 2 seconds later, profit. Let's take a look at this in action. think I will still get a flashbang save here, maybe. Yes. Let's discuss the corner or wall flashbang. You'll be approaching from behind, so you need to be very close, about 4 meters away when the killer picks up. However, the wall cannot save them. Run up to the side of the killer as far as you can. Drop the flashbang. Flashbangs drop slightly in front of you, so they will be between the killer and the wall. Then 2 seconds later, profit. Let's take a look at some examples. Yes! That's it. That's technical saves. The more you try, the more you'll get better at the timing. You will, however, fail at times. Sometimes killers are smart, and they expect you to be hanging around. That's why it helps to be healthy or have dead hard to give you a chance to escape a sticky situation. On to the advanced saves. Lockers, grabs, and CJ flashbangs. Let's start with locker flashbangs. The nice thing about these is the time you have to pull them off. Killers without Iron Maiden take quite a while to pull someone out of a locker. This gives you much more time to get into position for the save. However, the timing is a bit tricky. What you want to do is drop the flashbang a little after the survivor's feet come clear of the locker. Let's take a look at some examples. You can perform these saves at any locker on the map. The only downfall is if you're going against a dredge, they are not required to pick someone out of the locker. They can simply teleport into the locker the survivor's in and grab them. Dredge is immune to blind while exiting the lockers as well, so it's impossible to get a flashlight save against the dredge. However, it might be possible to flashbang save a dredge carrying someone out of a locker. Stay tuned to the end of the video for our dredge locker exit save attempts. It is also possible to save survivors when they are getting grabbed off of generators, from windows, or pallets, but you need to be really fast. Let's take a look at how this is done. Lastly, for advanced saves, we have the holy grail of flashbangs, the Flashbang CJ. To pull this off, you want to loop the killer around someone that is down in a pallet. If the killer is not aware of what is going on, you can drop the pallet when needed. The goal is to push the survivor to the same side of the pallet as the killer. If the killer was stunned, wait until the stun wears off, then immediately vault the pallet as the killer is about to break the pallet. This will cause the killer to pick up the survivor. Here's where it's different than flashlights. You do not have time to vault back over the pallet, so you need to turn towards the pallet and drop the flashbang just after the grunt of the survivor being picked up. Then you can vault back over the pallet. Then boom, look back at that handiwork you just did. Let's check this out in action. I hope you've learned something from this guide. If anything, you learned that I'm better at flashbang saves than Rupture. Go away, Bill. This is my guide. To summarize what we've learned, technical and advanced flashbang saves are tough. The timing is just after the survivor grunts when being picked up, just after their feet leave the locker when being grabbed from a locker, just as they are hoisted up after being grabbed from a generator or vault. You need to drop the flashbang before vaulting back over the pallet for flashbang CJs. You can get saves that flashlights cannot get. And most importantly, they go boom. Check out some of my flashbang save montages if you want to see more of this amazing perk in action. Also stop by my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/rupture, to play some Dead by Daylight with me or Bill if you visit on Saturday. Let me know in the comments if you found this guide useful, and tell me if this helps you get your first flashbang save, or just let me know what else you'd like me to cover on Behind Two Pallets. Oh, just slightly. I'm trying to figure out the cue, but it's so weird. Oh. Okay, the exit is much faster.
Yeah.
Must have been too late.
Very, very nice.